Welcome to Inside Independent Publishing with IBPA. I'm your host, Christopher Locke. I'm also the IBPA Director of Membership and Member Services. Okay, so understanding reader habits can help independent publishers and author publishers improve their book marketing strategies, hopefully even boosting book sales. With over 550,000 readers on the popular digital review copy platform NetGalley, their team has collected invaluable data about readers' preferences. So, NetGalley's Customer Success Manager, Katie Versluis, and Social Media Manager, Hallie Fields, join Inside Independent Publishing with IBPA today to discuss where readers say they discover books, the social media platforms that readers tend to share their book recommendations on most, and then the tips how publishers can garner more reviews. And by the way, tons more. All right, welcome Katie and Hallie.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Well, Katie, you and I have worked together for years, through NetGalley, so thanks for all your help on that. Hallie, we're just meeting. I don't know about you yet, so let's see what happens, okay?
And I don't know about you either.
You know what? That's true. That's very self-centered of me. I could be evil. All right. Okay, so let's get going. Again, IBPA has this NetGalley program. Y'all have been around for a long time. And well, actually, real quick, do you just want to mention, like what kind of, what NetGalley does so people understand how you all are experts on this issue?
Yeah, absolutely. So NetGalley is a way for authors and publishers, specifically through the IBPA, independent small authors and publishers, to often pre-publication collect reviews from our community of reviewers, booksellers, librarians, what we refer to as professional readers. So we make the connections, and our member base provides reviews and helps publishers do some of that publicity or pre-publication publicity.
Awesome. Okay. So with that, there are some really cool reader habits. I mean, you all have like literally a few 100,000 readers data that you're able to view and see what they like and all that. So let's start with the book genres. What are the ones that tend to be the most successful, quote unquote, on NetGalley in terms of getting the most reviews?
Yeah, we like to say that NetGalley is kind of a microcosm of the book industry and just bookstores in general as a whole. So often the books that you see on NetGalley are going to be the same that are bestsellers on bookstores 6 months from now or 3 months from now. So they'll probably be not surprised to find out that like general nonfiction, romance, sci-fi, fantasy, etc. Those are our most reviewed genres. But we did actually pull some data from this question so that we had some like actual concrete data for you. So this is kind of my little data literacy spiel first before we get into this, because there are some caveats to the data too. So our top genre for number of reviews is general fiction. Probably no surprises there. But that's just because general fiction is also such a broad category, and the number of books on NetGalley for general fiction, that general fiction label, is twice the number of the second largest category, which would be romance. And romance readers are voracious. They read a ton, they review a ton, so that probably doesn't surprise anybody either. And then our third most reviewed category is mystery and thrillers, which of course is such a buzzy book genre. So that doesn't surprise me either that everybody loves to talk about mystery and thrillers. And then that's fourth. Fourth is women's fiction. And then fifth is sci-fi fantasy.
Interesting. Women's fiction. So for a while there, teens and YA was always up there, but women's fiction is cool.
I know. I was surprised that YA wasn't higher on the list, and the women's fiction did surprise me a little bit at first, and then when you kind of think about it, you're like, oh yeah, women read a lot, so it makes sense to me when you think about it a little harder. Yeah,
and I know that like biography and memoirs, like in terms of nonfiction, very popular and all that as well. Oh, true crime, right, is another popular one.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you and I had talked before about there seems to be maybe a difference between like categories that are popular versus ones that are like just browsed. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, there isn't too much of a difference between our popular categories and the ones that are browsed the most, but we did see a slight difference in those rankings when we did our annual member survey. For example, members browse mystery and thrillers and general fiction the most for fiction, where romance and sci-fi and fantasy are the most popular by interest. So it sort of shows us where members are actively spending their time. browsing, looking through covers, trying to find a new to them author. It's interesting to see that there is a slight difference there.
Yeah, one of the things that's helpful too about something like NetGalley is for newer authors and newer, publishers that are publishing debut authors, things like that. Sometimes people might be less likely to give it a try if it's whatever, $18 or whatever the cost is. But a place like NetGalley gives them an opportunity to test it out. And then they're like, oh, I like this person. And so then it can kind of get them in that person's brain as a good author. And then anything going forward, they'll be more likely probably to buy, right?
Yeah, that is one of the things that we're most proud about with NetGalley is that we do give equal footing to, the big five publishers, the ones that have a ton of money to back them up, and the little guy, the ones who are just doing it on their own, and you'll often see them side by side in the NetGalley catalog.
Okay, so something else that I wanted to ask about is what have you found that entices readers to read a book, to actually click to download it?
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting too because we actually do collect this information. So when a member clicks or interacts with request or read now, a question pops up asking them what appeals to you about this book. And those options are author, cover, description. I keep hearing about this book, so sort of hinting to buzz or someone else's recommendation, and the book title. So this is super helpful to look at to see why people are clicking on this. But I also think outside of that information, members can be enticed just because of direct outreach, getting something like a widget or promotions or seeing it shared to your favorite bookstagrammer. It can almost feel like a personal invitation. You're like vetted, you're welcome to click and read through, and that might lead to them searching through your whole publisher page or looking for similar titles. So I think that is also another way that people feel enticed to click on something.
Is there anything then conversely that people it doesn't really factor when they're trying to read something that they're like, oh, I'm going to read it because of X?
Yeah, that's kind of a funny question too, because out of those, that list that Hallie just mentioned, that list of like why people are clicking, one of the things that we find kind of is on the lower end of the spectrum would be that like I keep hearing about this option. And I mean, that's by far the hardest one. That's the hardest metric to get for an author or publisher because it does rely on that word of mouth meter, that buzz to kind of organically generate, or you're putting in the work, you're generating that buzz. But I mean, I personally find that is the most important one to get. If you're going to strive for any one of those metrics, that's the one that I think publishers should be working hardest at. So it's like you want to make sure that you're getting your book out in the world as much as possible so that people are clicking on that. I keep hearing about this. I want to hear what the interest is about this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so I know book covers are an important way to get people to be interested in a book. So have you all noticed any trends of the types of book covers that get people to, because people can click if they like a book cover and don't like it. So what are the ones that consistently, or maybe there's some trends between them that are like always thumbs up?
Yeah, I was actually talking to my team about this we were so curious of have any of us noticed trends? And all of us sort of said something different. We read in different genres. And so I think even just thinking about what is trending in your genre, what's a common font that you're seeing on romance covers, a common theme, an element. I remember a few years ago, it was like snakes were everywhere. Historical fiction is often, a woman like turned with her back turned to the camera. So spending some time looking through color schemes and elements and symbols of your genre, of your subgenre. And I think just thinking about what catches your own eye when you go to a bookstore or a library, and what was it that made you look? The color of a font? Was it a photograph? And how does that sort of fit into other genres? And yes, NetGalley members can give like a thumbs up vote on the covers, and we feature those every month as a cover love roundup on our We Are Bookish blog. And those are always just a huge array of covers, from illustrated to things that look like paintings to like 8-bit artwork. It's really fun to see like a big range. So it sort of shows that it's just not a one size fits all. And then I think it's great too to look through the categories on NetGalley. You can see those thumbs up directly under the cover and see what's popular in your genre, what's getting likes. It's sort of a fun thing just to look through frequently.
Yeah, and publishers and authors are readers too, and they can just sign up for free for NetGalley to be able to do this type of browsing.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's perfect market research just to come into NetGalley and see what's coming. Because as I said, like 3 months from now, all those books are going to be bestsellers that are most popular in NetGalley too.
Yeah. Well, you all just inspired me for my headshot. I'm going to actually do the turn thing and see, do I start getting more people watching this podcast? They're going to be like, what's that guy up to? Where's he walking?
So compelling. Yeah.
Okay. So where in your research, where do NetGalley readers say they discover their print and ebooks?
Yeah, so this is also from our annual member survey. NetGalley members do primarily report that they discover new to them print or ebooks on NetGalley, which we love. They also report, though, that they discover new books from authors that they follow or have previously read, friends, peers. They also list publishers and influencers on social, and the top platforms that they've listed to discover books are Goodreads, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Okay, very cool. And then likewise, audiobooks. Are there any differences where they say they discover their audiobooks?
Yeah, so again, the top place is NetGalley, but they also report discovering new audiobooks from their local library, which we love, authors and friends. And then the top platforms there are just slightly different. Instagram, Goodreads, they've listed Libby, which is, of course, a library app, and Facebook.
Okay, great. Well, okay, so book reviews. So obviously, people come on, NetGalley, they download a digital review copy, and then they can leave a review. And as we all know, book reviews are really important to encourage other readers to read books. But sometimes people, not just on NetGalley, but just in general, I even know that I am, flawed in doing this sometimes, where they just don't leave a review. But they are so helpful. I'm also an author publisher, and I know a lot of indie publishers out there, like, please, if you like my book, leave a review. So do you have any tips to get the publishers and authors, how can they get their readers to leave reviews for their books?
Yeah, it sounds so simple, but truly just ask them. One of the things that we love most about NetGalley is that we provide like reporting and data for you to be able to actually contact and outreach the people who are A, downloading your book, and B, reviewing your book. So reaching out to them authentically in a way that is not too salesy, not too marketing, and just saying, your review means so much to me as an independent author or publisher. It can really go a long way. We do know that some publishers are, of course, really nervous to do this. They worry about over emailing. They worry about bugging their readers. But on NetGalley in particular, and I'm sure other marketing and publicity programs, we allow our members to kind of opt out of receiving those emails. So if their email is still available to you on NetGalley, that just means they want to hear from you. We really do love to hear from authors and publishers. And I say we because I love to see that too in my inbox. That said, of course you can say I would love to see your review, but provide a little bit more too. So don't forget the good stuff when you're contacting them. Just provide a little bit more, whether that's a reading guide or, for librarians, sometimes they want to see book clubs and book club kits that you've developed, things like that. I think readers are willing to go the extra mile for publishers and authors who are doing the same. They're putting out the same energy. And that being said, it does depend on the genre. Sometimes the strategy that you use for, a nonfiction book is going to be completely different from the strategy that you use as an author who's writing cozy mystery. So again, make sure to do the research in the genre that you write in and be absorbed in those communities too, because that might change the tactic that you use for outreach.
Well, what about, so can you just tell me a reader guide and book review kit, a book club review kit. What are those? What's in those?
Yeah, I mean, book club kits are just so fun. It's often a list of course, book club questions, just like other fun little goodies in there, a little bit of additional information from the author themselves, from the publisher. Hallie, do you have anything else to add from the ones that we developed in particular?
Yeah, and I've seen things like crossword puzzles and or like games that you could play with your book club. Could be really fun too to put like a call to action of sending a photo of your book club like that after they've read the book. I think that's another thing. People love to feel like, oh, someone is invested and cares that I'm taking the time to read this book or share it with my book club. That sort of thing I see that on social a lot of NetGalley members feeling really like valued when they get some of this extra material.
I see. Okay, interesting. Yeah. All my questions are, why is it that Christopher is the voice of his generation? How did he become so brilliant? Let's just discuss these things. Okay, so let's talk about consumer. So just so everyone knows, we're talking about, these are like consumer reviews and like, educators, librarians, booksellers, things like that. They're not trade reviews, right? So a trade review is a Kirkus review or Ford reviews, the actual trade publication. So with the consumer review though, these are now, you have these. So what can you do with consumer reviews that would then help promote your book? Are there places you should be posting it? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I really love to think of consumer reviews as kind of a way to provide your book legitimacy in the book world. They're real reviews by real people. Like your mom's not reviewing. You're not going to share a review that your mom wrote about your book in this particular situation. I mean, you can if it's a really good review, of course. But so yeah, use them alongside any promotional material that you're already developing. I'm sure you're doing lots of that anyway. So tack a little review onto your social media posts. Bring them to your little Canva one sheet that you're building and bringing to conferences, really anywhere that you're already promoting your book. Definitely tack on a 5-star consumer review that your book got. It's really, you can market your book as perfectly as possible on your own, but often the thing that puts you over the finish line is really just hearing from other readers. So that's truly important, just to put those reviews out in the world as often as possible. And like you don't forget too that like consumer reviews are also, they exist forever on places like Amazon and Goodreads. So even if you're not necessarily doing too much to put those reviews in front of people, they still stay forever. They stay evergreen. They're always going to be read by whoever has browsed and discovered your book. So it's always worth it to kind of chase down consumer reviews when you can. Yeah,
well, so, like on something like Amazon or Goodreads, it's a little different from NetGalley. You actually have a direct connection to the people, but like, if let's say you get these great reviews on something like Amazon or Goodreads, like you can't email that person and say, hey, can I use this somewhere? So like, are there rules about taking like an Amazon, consumer review and on your social media site, like posting it and going, look at this amazing review I got? Like, do you need permission to do that?
From Amazon, I don't think so, or Goodreads, especially if you can link back to the review online. Like that's always best practice, is make sure you're always sourcing where you're getting that review from. And that's what we recommend on NetGalley as well, is because we provide you with that contact information, just contact that person and say, I really loved your review. I'd love to use it on the back cover of my book, on the print version. Like, how should I credit you? Do you want to be credited as your full name, or do you want me to drive back to your blog or your Instagram? That sort of thing. You're really just looking to build relationships as well. So treat those people the same way that you would treat, another author who's reviewing your book. Treat them with respect.
Okay. And then we're talking about positive reviews, but let's just talk about like quote, negative reviews. So I know that we've talked in the past before about how negative reviews aren't necessarily like the worst thing in the world. So how do you think a negative review can actually be helpful sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of like to differentiate between a negative review and a critical review. So a critical review is something that we find is useful. You can take something from that review, even if it was, not great, 1-star, 2-star. Usually they're more framed as like, I saw what this person was trying to do. It didn't win me over. Here's why. And they're providing you reasons. And you can really think like, this middle grade book that I just promoted, I'm receiving some feedback that says like, this actually was better suited for YA. It felt more like a YA audience. You can take that feedback and change how you're marketing the book, because that is real legitimate feedback that you're getting. So it can really help you, even though it might make you a little sad. It really can help you to be better at marketing your book. And then, of course, there are the negative reviews that I think you can just let roll off your back, because oftentimes they're just a sign that you have reached someone who isn't in your target audience. They were never going to like your book. Therefore, you shouldn't be trying to win them over anyways.
Every time somebody leaves a negative review, I email them and say, why do you hate me? But
maybe it happens.
maybe not the best way to do it.
No.
Okay, so let's talk about social media platforms and readers' habits. I know you just mentioned a few, but I kind of wanted to dig a little deeper. So in general, like, where are people when they love a book and they're just like, oh my God, this is the best book ever? Where are you finding that they leave their reviews? And it's a leading question because one was called Storygraph, and I hadn't heard of that before. So anyway, tell me some of those.
Yeah, so I would say our top platforms are Instagram and Facebook. That's Instagram's probably the most popular one that we see for NetGalley members. And of course, that requires a whole visual component, either with a photo or a graphic or a video. So this is another great opportunity to reach out with maybe a template that you've created, or sharing your book cover to help people be able to post about it on their Instagram channels. And it leads to just a lot of creative content on that platform. And then Facebook is our second top, which we were a little surprised about. But once we thought about it, we have a lot of our professional reader community using Facebook. So people like bookstores, librarians are using it with their small local groups. They are posting to their community about events, and within their page, they post about book recommendations and book reviews. We also have a lot of NetGalley members that make use of Facebook groups, and those can be like private groups or open to a much larger audience. It may be something they're using with their book club. There's even like large NetGalley Facebook groups. There's giant groups for things like thrillers that have thousands and thousands of followers, and people share their book reviews there too. But yes, there are NetGalley members on basically every platform. Storygraph is sort of an app where you can track your reads, and you can also share reviews, and it has a lot of customization of using tags and adding like spoiler alerts and content warnings. And we have a lot of NetGalley members that link those accounts and have a really active presence there too. And it's really fun. Every time we do a survey, we get like a new group of platforms that our members have started sharing on.
I'm always interested how much publishers and or authors should be engaging on these platforms with these readers, right? Like, I mean, if someone leaves a great review, there's an instinct to go, you want to go, thank you so much, that's amazing. But like, should you be like engaging with everybody, or kind of let people just have their conversations? Because I do remember once I was very excited. People were chatting about my book on something like Facebook, and there were a lot of comments. And then I saw it and I wrote something like, oh, thank you so much. But then after that, like no one left any new ones, because they're like, oh, he's watching us.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, did I kill that? But I was trying to show them I care. Anyway, what are y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have that hesitation, even with just NetGalley things sometimes. Sometimes I think it's best to wait to see if you're tagged into it. Especially sometimes the reviewer's just throwing out like, I'm excited for this book. They don't know anything about it. You probably don't need to say too much to that. But I think if you're tagged into a glowing review where you want to thank the person for taking the time to read it, that's great. It's just sort of remembering like the human side of this, and reminding everyone that there is a human behind this author account, behind this publisher account. But yes, I think it can be a little hard, because you also don't want to insert yourself and then make people feel like, oh no, I can't say anything else now. Or sometimes they don't even want to put it on you to like, oh, now they think they have to reply to everyone here.
Uh-huh. All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I guess, like we were saying, I've certainly seen, especially with negative stuff, like don't just stay away. Do not be like,
Yes.
anything to it because these people are already kind of heated and you just let it be. Well, you mentioned influencers, so I do want to ask about that. I know people are trying to figure out, okay, who do they connect to? Like, who's the quote unquote right influencer for their book? Do y'all have any advice about them?
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, there's so much in the world of influencers. I think the first thing to do is always to start with your own social accounts and
Mm,
look at your own notifications. Notice who's already there, who is already liking and tagging you. And that can be people that you know, and you might want to reach out to that connection and see, like, well, what's their wider audience?
mm,
But it might also be a reader who read your book 6 months ago and you didn't do much with that tag then, but now you are wanting to do more of an actual influencer type partnership. So always start there if you have that place.
mm,
I think outside of tapping into sort of your current brand champions, spend some time on a platform that's a priority to you and really scroll through tags that you think kind of fit your book. Look for creators who make that type of content and watch video content. Watch all the way through. See what is currently being created in that space and just kind of make note of what catches your attention. I think in order to sort of authentically connect with influencers, you need to understand their space and what they're doing.
mm,
You don't want to reach out with a big idea and then the person lets you know, I never create video content.
mm.
You want it to be clear that you've spent time looking through what they do and you think that they are a successful right partner for you.
Hmm. And I know there's then like micro influencers. So, uh, how can first maybe you can define like how do you define that? But then how can they also be helpful?
Yeah, so a micro influencer typically has a follower count between 10,000 and 100,000. So they're sort of the smaller influencer level. But I think they have a huge amount of power in the social world, especially right now. They have a much more smaller audience. So because of that, most micro influencers see a much higher engagement rate, which means that their posts actually reach a higher percentage of their followers. And that means that their followers actually interact with the post more.
Mm,
They share, save, comment, and micro influencers are able to sort of have a more narrow focus, making it much easier to reach a very specific audience. So I think, for example, if you have a book that's a Southern Gothic horror novel, you are going to have so much more reach with an influencer with 10,000 followers that really makes themselves an expert of that subgenre. People go to them for those recommendations. You'll have more of an impact than an account with 700,000 followers that just talks about fiction because not all of their audience is engaging. They're not all interested in that. I think finding someone that really has that like micro focus on what you're doing can make a big impact.
Well, I read one of your articles, and it mentioned community campaigns. So, can you tell us, is that related to this whole influencer thing, or is that completely different?
Yeah, I mean, I love a community campaign. It's a way to get your entire audience involved, and that can include influencers.
Mm,
We just think about it as trying to find the common thread in your community. So sometimes that can be just everyone who likes books,
mm,
or it could be one of the common threads is booksellers who run an audiobook book club at their store. We try to narrow it down to how are we trying to connect people? What are we trying to do? What's our goal of this campaign? And overall, it's just a way to increase engagement and growth of our account, of awareness of like NetGalley or a certain book. And it's providing experiences and activities that can just strengthen the bond of your audience. Usually it's through some sort of an incentive, which could be something like if you participate in this activity, you'll get a discount. Or it could be something as simple as if you post using this hashtag, we will repost your photo to our Instagram stories. It can be very simple. Last year, we created a new community campaign called Camp NetGalley, and it was just a month-long campaign to sort of remind people about all of NetGalley's resources, about reviewing books, finding new books on NetGalley. And it was just an opportunity to really involve all of our audience without having to single out specific influencers. It gave everyone the chance to feel really involved and seen by the brand.
Awesome.
It was very cute. Super cute.
It was cute.
Yeah, I loved it.
Because all the graphics, or what made it
Yeah. We had sort of a summer camp vibe to all of our graphics. So we had a lot of like very notable, like you could sort of see the like wooden sign and theme through all of the graphics. It was really fun.
And you guys did a lot of what we're talking about today here, right? Like you guys gave images for people to use. You did like fun little like crafts and things like that too.
Yeah, that's true. We got so many more posts because we provided like a photo, like a template for them to add a photo to, something to fill out about like meet the camper. And it was just so easy for people to participate. We've definitely made note of we want to continue doing that moving forward.
Well, some people aren't, as savvy with, creating graphics and such. So do you recommend anything that's helpful, that's easy for people to create graphics?
Oh yeah, I mean, Canva is an amazing resource. There's so many tutorials. We even have a recent tutorial on the We Are Bookish blog for Canva. I think for authors, publishers, reviewers, there's so many templates where you can just drag and drop and then you're good to go.
Okay, so Canva seems like a good one. Okay. All right, well, I know you all are launching Booktrovert, so I do want to give you an opportunity to tell people what is Booktrovert?
Yeah, we are launching Booktrovert on June 23rd. We are very excited. Yeah, so simply put, Booktrovert is a standalone consumer marketing platform. And it's a place to showcase special promotions and digital giveaways. It's designed to kind of be a flexible alternative to some other giveaway sites. So it's super easy and so intuitive. And if you're already using NetGalley, you'll already know how to use Booktrovert because it's built right in. So it's so flexible because you can do giveaways, you can do pre-orders, you can do buy now options. And it's a really great way to also easily offer campaigns of all sizes. So you can reach those small, highly targeted private campaigns through those like little Facebook groups that Hallie was talking about, dedicated specifically to that author street team. So you can reach that kind of small niche group, or you can offer large scale outreach with kind of a little more urgency when you're looking to maximize your outreach. So it can get as big as you would like it to. So it is exclusively available for NetGalley clients to reach US readers right now. And we're really excited for it to launch in June.
Yeah. So then if someone wants to participate, do they have to have their book on NetGalley, or is it like they can do it just directly through Booktrovert?
It does have to be on NetGalley. It has to be active on NetGalley as well. So that's kind of part of what makes it so easy is that it's already on NetGalley, and you really just have to click a couple buttons to tell us what the program is about, and kind of already built in for you.
Okay. Yeah. So just so everyone knows, we are in negotiations with NetGalley to figure out how to provide that for our members as well. And I do also want to remind everyone. So yeah, we have the NetGalley program. It's a really great way for people to, get your books out there, your ARCs, or if your book's been out for a while and maybe people didn't notice it, like 5 years ago, a way to tell people, hey, this book exists. I always say, and I'm pretty sure most people would agree, a reader isn't going to look at a book and go, oh, this was published 3 years ago. I don't want to read it. They just want to read a good book. So you should definitely be getting the word out about, don't worry if you missed opportunities earlier, keep getting the word out. Okay, so we'll tell people more about Booktrovert coming up, and then check out our NECA program on our site, ibpa-online.org. It's on a special NECA page. Okay, well, so we are basically at time. I don't know if real quick you all wanted to add any other thing where you're like, hey, don't forget to do this. This is important for reader habits. Any last words?
I'll be at Publishing University next month. I don't know if this will be up by then, but yeah, come visit us there.
Yes. So you all are we really appreciate it. You all come to PubU every year. It's our conference. So this is going to be in May. So it'll be right after the conference. So I hope everyone had a great time talking to you.
Yeah. Hope we chatted.
We should talk about it in the future. So yes, but you all generally come, and it's a good way to connect in person to ask about various things. So well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you all just sharing all this, ideas for people. I think it helps to get people's, like brains, creative juices flowing of, oh, wow, okay, that's what readers are looking for. So really very much appreciate it. So again, for NetGalley, you can, we have our own program. If you have a subscription that you want to do directly through NetGalley, you can also do that. And then Booktrovert, for people that are listening that are readers, that actually just want to sign up for Booktrovert to be one of the people that receives the giveaways, it's Booktrovert, BOOKTROVERT.com. And for more information about IBPA, I hope people become members. It's ibpa-online.org. And this particular podcast drops the last Thursday of every month. I hope you subscribe, come back. Katie, Hallie, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It's been great to work with you all. So I hope, you keep, keep collecting data and keep sharing it with everybody. It's really helpful.
Thank you.
Glad to hear it. Thanks, Christopher.